A lot of Miami fans, surprisingly, are scared to drink the Kool-Aid with me this year. And I get why. Like, to quote my guy Rod Wave, "Hard been bro so many times, don't know what to believe." It's like, it's always the same story with Miami football every single year. In the offseason, you look at the team and you say, man, this is the best Miami Hurricanes team that we've had since so-and-so year. Then the season rolls around and they never play up to expectations. So I definitely understand why you Miami fans are kind of reluctant to drink the Kool-Aid with me this year. But if there was ever a year to buy into the Miami Hurricanes hype, it's this year. You want to know why? Because this isn't the same Miami team that we have fell victim to the hype machine to in previous years. Miami actually has a true superstar quarterback this year, and Cam Ward, and he's the best quarterback in the ACC this year. He clears DJ Uiagalelei. He clears Cade Klubnik. Like, if Cam Ward plays up to his potential, he should be a Heisman finalist this year. You got key transfers in Damien Martinez, who was the #1 running back out of the transfer portal. This dude was averaging 6.1 yards per carry at Oregon State last year, 9 touchdowns, and had 1,185 rushing yards on the ground. You got Sam Brown, who was one of the top wide receivers from this year's transfer portal cycle. Mario Cristobal has recruited at a really high level. He also has utilized the transfer portal at a pretty good level as well. And for the fans that are reluctant to trust Mario Cristobal, it's definitely understandable. Poor clock management. We all remember the mishap that he had in that loss to Georgia Tech, just deciding not to kneel the football for some strange reason. And he also has a history of holding back his quarterbacks. But at least when it comes to holding back his QBs, I don't think that's going to be a stereotype that is going to follow Mario Cristobal for too long, because Shannon Dawson runs a completely different scheme that Mario Cristobal normally doesn't run. He runs an air raid spread offense. Mario Cristobal, when he was coaching at Oregon, was more pro style. And with Shannon Dawson being the OC, this is the second season with the program, him having a good quarterback in Cam Ward, who already has a lot of familiarity with the air raid system because he's ran it with his previous 2 schools. He ran it at Incarnate Word, and he also ran it at Washington State. It pretty much should be Cam Ward picking up from where he left off, but a lot better considering that he's at Miami with way more talent than what he ever had to work with at Washington State. So Shannon Dawson, with the kind of scheme he runs, I'm not expecting for Cam Ward to get held back and fall victim to the Mario Cristobal quarterback curse, because the scheme and the system that Mario Cristobal is allowing Shannon Dawson to run is a system and scheme that he hasn't really ran in the past. He started to change his philosophy when it comes to offense, and he's more modern this year than what he has been in previous years. And that's why I'm excited for what Cam Ward could do this year with Miami. It's not like Mario Cristobal is running the same offense that held back Justin Herbert when he was at Oregon. This is a completely different offense. And a lot of people pay way too much time focusing on history and not looking at the changes that Mario Cristobal has been making with this program and for philosophically wise, because this isn't the same Mario Cristobal that we saw who had that late game blunder against Georgia Tech and was holding back Justin Herbert. Him hiring Shannon Dawson was a big surprise to me because he runs an air raid system. He's a spread guy. He's going 4 wide. He's not a guy that's going to get too much underneath center. It's way different from the offense that we've seen in past years out of Cristobal. And in his 3rd season at Oregon, he won the Pac-12 and he also won the Rose Bowl. Mario Cristobal has a good track record of being able to build up and develop programs, and normally his 3rd season is where his programs start to reach their peak. So Miami, looking at their schedule, which is extremely favorable, they should be 6-0 before they got to go on the road and play Louisville. Their first 5 games before that, you got to play Florida, which should be a dub, FAMU, Ball State, USF on the road, Virginia Tech, and on the road at Cal. Those should be 5 easy victories. The Florida game is a rivalry game, but Florida sucks this year. They're not going to be that good. Billy Napier's coaching for his jobs. And then your biggest games of the season, Louisville on the road, VT, that could be a tricky game, but you should be able to win that one. Then you got Florida State and Duke. And the reason why I have Duke on there is because you got Manny Diaz as the head coach. And I think that Manny Diaz is going to have a huge chip on his shoulder, considering, how he kind of was kicked to the curb and replaced for Mario Cristobal. And Miami, I don't really think that they handled that situation the most professional way. It's like they still had Manny Diaz employed as their head coach. He was still working, still recruiting. Meanwhile, they're flirting with trying to get Mario Cristobal down to South Beach. And I just didn't really like how that situation played out. And I expect Manny Diaz to have something to prove when the Blue Devils play Miami this year. But overall, if you are a Hurricanes fan that's scared to buy into the hype this year, like if you've been hyped up about Miami football for over the last decade, there's no reason why you shouldn't be hyped up this season, because you have a reason to actually be hyped up. This team is way too good to be trash. Like they paid for this team, man. Like they literally handpicked every single player that they wanted, gave them all the money in the world to get them to come to Miami. Like Mario Cristobal flipped Cameron Ward from the NFL draft, man. Damien Martinez, like this dude is probably going to be one of the highest paid running backs in the nation. Same thing with Sam Brown. Like they have way too much talent on this squad to be trash. And I know just because you buy a team, that doesn't necessarily guarantee that you're going to be good. But for Miami, Mario Cristobal isn't a bad coach. He's a above average coach in my opinion. And he's good enough where he should be able to take advantage of a lackluster ACC. Like the ACC is down this year. Florida State is not going to be good. Like I don't know how many times I got to tell these damn Seminole fans that DJ Uyunglele freaking sucks. He blows, man. They wanted Cam Ward. Them getting DJ Uyunglele was a downgrade from what they had last year and Jordan Travis. That dude is going to cost them so many games. I can't wait for them to realize it. Like they keep hyping this dude up when he was terrible in the spring game, bro. Like DJ Uyunglele is not good. North Carolina, they're going to be in for a down season. Louisville, they're going to be a middle of the pack team. Like there's really no team in the ACC that I can look at and say, yeah, like they should be able to beat Miami in the ACC championship. Like Miami, to me, right now, is the undisputed best team in the ACC going into this year. Florida State, they're going to be in for a regress season or a regression season this year. I feel like last season was their peak under Mike Norvell, and now he's going to have to take at least a season or two to rebuild that squad back up to what it was last year. I don't think they're at a stage right now under Mike Norvell where they can just relock and reload. For Miami, you have the opportunity to take advantage of a down conference. This may be the worst Power 5 conference in college football this year. So there's no reason why Miami shouldn't win it. If Miami doesn't win the ACC championship this year, I will never, ever believe in the Miami Hurricanes hype ever again. I get that this team and this program has lost us a lot of money and they cost us a lot of pain the last couple of decades, but 2024 is a lot different. You got Cam Ward, Damien Martinez, you got one of the best rosters in college football. You got the best team overall in the ACC. There's no reason why Miami shouldn't run the table in the Atlantic Coast Conference this year.